This club had a lot of Yakuza, right? And so next thing I know, he was taken outside and they beat the shit out of him, like broke his arm, everything. Wow. And he slept in the alley because he was like fucked up. And then so the next day he came into this class like broken arm, everything. And he was saying like he got yelled at by all these gang members and Yakuza and just because he like was being disrespectful towards somebody.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let's Talk Tea. It's me, Alex. We got motherfucking Tyler here. And with us, we got Luv Language.
Luv Language.
What up?
Here, ladies and gentlemen, we have it. The newest, hottest thing on the block in the club scene. You got Joey One Oak and Jasper, otherwise Disaster Jasper, Pastor Jasper, taking everybody to church.
Take 'em, Pastor.
How you guys doing? How we doing?
What up?
What's up?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Of course, thanks for coming in. If y'all don't know, they host the most lit fucking R&B parties out here in LA. Make sure y'all check out their events, what they're up to. We'll have the links below. But with that, let's get into what we're going to get into today.
He said, let's talk tea.
Let's talk tea.
Let's talk some tea, baby.
Let's talk tea, baby.
So we'll get right into it, right? Luv Language, of course. How did you guys get started? Mission, idea behind it.
So, I'll lead with this question.
I'll tell my story after.
But basically, I've been in the nightlife scene for a really long time. Fuck you, Tyler. I know he's gonna make a comment.
You can see it. He was about to. You can see it in his eyes.
He's gonna make a comment.
If the nightlife scene had an AARP card, this motherfucker would have it. His drink stamp sheet looks like a proclamation, dude. It's fucking. It's like he swear to God.
Oh, that's so good. I'm older. Tyler looks older. How about that? Tyler looks older than me, but I'm definitely older. No, so basically, I've been in the nightlife scene for a while, and I've been in various teams and parties, and I just wanted to start my own thing, and pretty much I came up with this concept, and my favorite type of music is R&B and hip hop. So I came up with this concept, and then pretty much I was like, I can't do it on my own. I need people to join me. And what's really funny is when I brought Jasper on, he called me one day, and this is out of nowhere, by the way. Like, he called me and he was like, "Hey man, like, so what are you up to?" Da-da-da. And he literally goes, "Yeah, dude, so I really want to like do more in nightlife." And I was just sitting there, I was like, that's crazy because I have this project in mind. So there's technically three founders, me, Jasper, and Charlie, who's not here today. But me and Charlie pretty much thought of it to an extent, and then Jasper just came on as well, and it kind of worked out. So we started in July of 2022. We started at Treehouse in Chinatown, downtown LA. And yeah, man, it started off as a day party. It was good, and been on and off for about 2 years now. So
What's crazy is, as of today in July 2024, I'm putting a date on this shit. Mm-hmm. This coming month is actually our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Shit.
Yeah. So it's gonna be.
Are you guys thinking about throwing anything?
Yeah, we are.
We're thinking about
planning
this.
it right now.
We're planning it right
cooking
now.
something up.
Yeah, we're planning it right
chef
now.
it up real quick.
But yeah,
Cook.
It's been a journey for 2 years because it's like just like anything else in nightlife. It's like there's times where you're on fire and you're doing really well, and then there's times where you kind of cool down a little bit. So we've been on and off. And to be honest, we just kind of reignited Luv Language probably in the last like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And like we were like not doing anything for a couple months, and then we were literally like, yo, we kind of came into some opportunities, and Jasper's like, yo, let's bring back Luv Language, and we're doing it. And we're like, cool, all right, and we're doing it. And so
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry to cut you off. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard a lot of rumblings in the nightlife scene about Luv Language. I mean, I know both of them personally, but unfortunately some big moves that these guys are making. And I mean, not gonna lie. I mean, it's. I'm definitely hearing about it from the other side of the pond. You know, you have LA, you have OC, you have different groups that talk. Yeah. And if your party gets across to those different scenes and does those things, you're doing something right. So, I mean, congratulations to you two. And doing it.
We're really happy with how things have been progressing. And just like anything else, it really does take time. That's the one thing people don't realize about nightlife. It's just kind of like, you can be hot for a second, but what do you do to maintain it, right? Like, what do you do to keep going? What do you do to maintain that it factor? And that's kind of like what we've gone through that. We've experienced like up front, like we've had events where we had 500 people. We've had events where we had like 50 people, even less, you know what I mean? And it's just, that's like the swings of nightlife. And it was just kind of like, but you know, I think Jasper always told me, hey, you know what, no matter what, as long as we keep going, that's like the key, right? Like whether you have, again, 50 or 500, as long as you keep going and people see it and people like, and eventually hopefully gets to something bigger than what you expect, then you got to just keep going.
Yeah, I remember hearing about you guys at first. Yeah, but I think it was like right after COVID. I was with my old housemate. He was like, yo, dude, let's go. I think you guys had an event at, was it a residence?
No.
Was it
Their first event?
No,
I don't think
our event was at Treehouse.
Okay, I don't remember which one, but he was like, "Oh shit!"
Day party, right?
Day party, yeah.
Day party at Treehouse, right?
Yes. That was a time. That was an era.
That was good.
That was a good time.
I just remember him saying like "love language." This is my first time hearing it. I was like, "Oh shit, what is that?"
Yeah.
And then I want to check it out. But I assume the first time getting like your first venue, your first event, like that's really hard for somebody to give you guys the time, like give you guys the slot.
They're like, we have no idea who you guys are. Like,
I mean, for Luv Language, the first venue we got into was Treehouse, and it was a relationship that I kind of maintained from my previous
through his age.
venues. Yeah.
I was going to say.
Didn't think you were bagging on me, but okay. All right, I get enough from Tyler, now I got to hear from you. I think that, like I said, I've been in nightlife for some time, and I just use these relationships to kind of be like, hey, I'm actually starting my own thing. And it kind of just like worked out. And kind of like, I've been in all aspects of nightlife, you know, not just like, I started off like from the very bottom as like, you know, a promoter and all this stuff, and just worked my way up. And it's just like, even to working at a venue, you know what I mean? So I've seen it all, and it's just kind of like, I know what goes on, and it kind of just, you know, when I wanted to do my own thing, I kind of knew exactly what I was looking for. You know what I mean?
Right. And it seems that this is another thing too with events, is that you're not going to come into this scene and just make your own event. You're going to have some prior experience in the nightlife scene. And to be honest with you, the scene is getting saturated with parties and stuff like that. And it becomes, I'm assuming, more difficult to stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
And to make your party better. So, I mean, I don't want to, I guess this is more of just picking your brain type of thing. I don't want to disclose any secrets to any other people watching that may have their own events, but what is a way that you kind of, is it a customer service type of thing? Is there something that you do between,
like what makes you guys stand out?
Yeah, what makes you guys better than the rest?
You know, one thing that I would say that is different with us that I see a lot in the current scene, right? And like you said, the current scene is very saturated, right? There's every block you turn, every club, everything, there's a new party popping up, right? And a big thing that I think the reason that people support us and we kind of have a grip on what we're doing is because of the experience that we came up with, right? A lot of people that are currently throwing parties are very new to the scene.
Absolutely.
Right? Super new DJs, everything,
Absolutely.
right? So, and I think a lot of this, I could probably say this for a lot of seasoned DJs currently, is that they think that a lot of these newer DJs are just kind of jumping the gun a bit, where it's like, hey, you need to kind of understand the industry a little bit more first, right? If you're a brand new DJ, like you don't know what it's like to DJ, to open a club, to close a club, prime, like all these things. And then not only that, the promotion side, which is
of course
nothing to do with DJing at
like
all.
all the actual ins and outs.
Exactly, right?
DJs that come onto the scene that are new. I mean, I spend enough time in nightlife. I spend enough time in nightlife with you and him.
That they ain't shit. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's just a lot of social media DJs just have the lack of in-person experience.
Right? You guys know the ins and outs. Man, you managed a club.
Yep.
You know, you too.
Yeah.
You both managed a club.
Yep.
So you know the actual ins and outs of what to do and everything that goes into an event. Most of these guys, and this is why I asked you that question, is most of these guys that are coming into the scene.
Hey, I'm a DJ. I want to throw parties.
I work in nightlife. I'm going to do that too. No. That's why it's kind of, I was curious to know what it was. I mean, even though I knew the answer on why you guys are successful, you know, you guys have done everything. You've promoted, managed, DJ'd. You've done you've done almost every facet of the nightlife scene. And I think that's really what you need to do to really have an event that's successful.
Yeah.
I think it's longevity.
I think, it's just like, I think the biggest thing is, you know, with social media nowadays, I think that, you know, having a social media following is great. And you know, obviously, but I've seen parties that have like no followers, but they get 500 people out there. And I've seen parties that have 50,000 followers and they get X amount of people out there. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest thing is everyone nowadays thinks like, oh, like I have X amount of followers. Oh, this is a cool flyer, cool name. Yo, this is gonna be dope.
Right.
Like I think the biggest thing with just to continue on what Jasper was saying is just kind of like, oh, like I'm a new DJ. Oh yeah, my friends came to support me. Like I brought 50 people out. Yo, I only got paid X amount of dollars. I can throw my own event and make more money. And they don't think about the factors like, and that's kind of the mentality. And they don't think about the factors like, okay, cool, yeah, you brought 50 people out. Like, yo, you're new. Of course 50 people are gonna come out for you. What's gonna happen once you're a regular name? What's gonna happen once you've DJ'd more than
when you lose that shine?
Like, you know what I mean? Not even I would say
it's like
shine.
initial momentum.
Yeah, like, it's just kind of like, because everywhere, no matter who you are, there's a point where it's kind of like, yo, like, you know, like at first, yes, everyone's going with you. Everyone's like, your car's full. Like everyone has to Uber. You gotta rent a freaking minivan. Then there's times where it's just like, yo, like I can't even get like,
it's like no one wants to come out.
Like I can't even get my dog to come with me. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's crazy. No, but that's how it really is. You know, and I think that for like anyone that's new, it's just like, yeah, I highly think that you should take some time and be like, yo, it's so much more than the name and posting a flyer and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's so much more than that. And that's the one thing that I think is happening in nightlife is kind of people are just like, yo, like I'm popping, like let me start my own event, like let me grab one or two other homies. And it's cool. It's great for like a couple, like for however long, but how do you continue on, right?
Running business is not easy.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing people don't think about too. It's just like, yo, it's fun, it's great, but it's still a business. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You have to procure these relationships with the club owners and everything like that. You have to do all kinds of things.
100%. They're still green and red. You know what I mean? There's still profit and loss. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that a lot of these DJs don't think about, right? And it's just kind of like, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. From our personal experience, it's a lot because we've seen a good amount of green and we've seen a lot of red. You know what I mean? So it's like, and we have a team of like, I mean, there's I think only 10 of us right now, but we're considered relatively small.
How much time do you think you put in each week?
Jasper? To be honest with you, like nightlife to me, because I have so many other things going on in my life, right? Nightlife to me is slightly more on the back burner a little bit, just because my day-to-day life consists of running an event company and then at Academy of DJs.
Shout out to B-Lo.
Shout out B-Lo events. Shameless plug. But I'll do it. You know what though? Just kind of continuing off of what Joey said about everything in nightlife and this party. I think something that kind of is an underlying factor that a lot of people don't realize in nightlife is having integrity, right? Okay. And so a lot of parties, we all know this, right? You guys have been in nightlife. We've been in nightlife. This industry is kind of shady.
Oh, God,
right. So it's like people fuck each other over. People do this. Everyone's trying to get their buck, trying to get ahead, right? But you notice that the groups, or parties, or owners, or whatever it happens to be, right? The ones that don't have integrity, they might have that quick success, right? 2 years down the line, you're like, dude, I forgot about that person. Like they're not around anymore, right? And the names that still exist now, 5, 10, 15 years later, are the ones that have realized that, like, dude, I have to have good relations with people. Correct. Each person that I fuck over to try to get ahead, that's one person that's going to hurt me in the long term. Correct. Right? Absolutely, and it's so easy to take that easy route of that easy buck and not have your integrity to be like, okay, this is what I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to support others. I know that we might be competition, right? But I'm not here to be like, yeah, you're my competition, fuck you, right? It's more like, there's always going to be enough to eat, right? And I think a big thing that I see currently in the scene when it comes to parties is back then when I first started DJing, it was a bunch of different promoting groups coming together to throw an event. Now it's like everyone is trying to be their own hero. Everyone's like, I want mine. I want to get what's mine versus like the collaboration aspect.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's such a good question. Who's a better DJ, me or Jasper? Jesus. I believe Jasper has better technical skills than me. I will 100% say that. Better DJ, I don't even know if I can answer that. But I 100% believe Jasper has better technical skills than me. That's a for sure. I mean, he teaches a DJ school. Like, come on.
I got nothing to say.
Yeah. I mean, this is why he's my partner, man. Like, it's like we're really like we talk about it all the time, and we're just kind of like, we talk to other different groups and teams, and we're kind of like, yo, like, let's do this and this. And it's kind of like, yeah, like, of course it has to make sense. But it's just like me and him talking, we're just like, how much sense does it have to make, right? Like, I think it's just fun to do. I think it's cool to do. I think it's like, yo, like, because especially I came from a time when and I'm going to say a crazy number, fuck you, before you make a comment, okay? Like, I'm saying when I started in nightlife, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You were there with him.
I wasn't there at that time, but.
Don't edit this out. Fun fact. Tyler's very first night ever going out.
Yes.
Ask him who got him in. Ask him who got him in.
Joey got me in. It was Home Nightclub.
I want this clip because I'm going to repost it on my story every day for a year and be like, Tyler's very first night ever going out.
First night ever was at Home Nightclub, and Joey got us in.
And then it was like, Tyler was just like, that was amazing. There was like a line of like 600 people.
There was a ton of people.
700 people. And then we basically met through my good friend style, my roommate, Jeremy. And we met through him. And he's just like, oh, I'm bringing my boy Tyler. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then came up and he was just like, yo. And then it was just like, literally just like, yo, go on in. And then he's just like, and he's like, really? I was like, yeah. Like, go on.
That was my first introduction to nightlife right there.
And then he was just like, Tyler walked in and was just like, yo, this is crazy. This is so
women,
much fun.
there's alcohol. I'm having a great time.
Oh my God. No. Because hanging out with him is hanging out with a retiree. He's like 60. He got me into the club, but they didn't tell you that they wheeled him out in a wheelchair. He couldn't walk. He has a degenerative disease. It's not even... I swear, his caretaker called me before I got here. But yes, he has played a big part in me becoming a degen, for sure. For sure. But I'm not going to lie. I'm my own worst enemy with that. I am a degen.
Thankfully, I met Joey. I'm blessed enough in life to have met Joey and, got me there. But, I would definitely say that he contributed to me being a degenerate party animal that I am today. Like if it wasn't for him, I would be sleeping at 12. Now I'm sleeping at 12 p.m. You know what I mean? Going back anyway to the original point of that comment. What was the comment? So I've been in, like, when I started like 10 or 12 years ago, it's just like, think of the teams that are in current nightlife right now, and imagine before we used to throw the party together. That's the way I came up. Like, it used to be like 3 or 4 teams on the same party. You know what I mean? Like, not like everyone's, and like kind of Jasper saying, everyone's so spread out. Everyone wants to be their own thing. Everyone wants to be their own hero. Everyone wants to be their own this. Dude, when I'm like, yo, I would love for all 5 of us to come together and throw a Friday, every Friday, and just be like, yo, like, let's all eat. Like, yeah, maybe the slice isn't going to be as big, but it's always coming. Is kind of like where I was at.
Why do you think the nightlife industry has changed so much? Because it has. Nightlife industry compared to 5 years ago, 6 years ago, is a completely different animal.
Okay, this is my opinion, right? And so I think social media has to do a lot with it, right? So I come from a b-boy background, right? So in like growing up, b-boys, it's all about your crew, right? It's all about like, hey, I'm repping my crew, I'm repping my squad, right? And with social media, people now have the ability to be like, I don't need all of that, because people were supporting each other, right? Because it's like my crew comes up together, right? We're all part of one unit. Whereas social media gave people the power and opportunity to be like, I don't need all that. I could come up by myself,
correct?
Right? And I think we, as humans, we have this. Obviously, there's always a level of selfishness that we desire and want, right? To be like, with fame comes power, status, money, whatever that looks like, right? However, with all, what was the question again?
Why is
Edit.
No. We'll keep it. It's okay. The question was, why do you think
industry changed so much?
The industry has changed so much?
Oh yeah, okay.
In like the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. So social media, right? Because everyone can now be their own thing, and they're like, I want the pie. It's a level of selfish desire, which I think there's pros and cons to that, right? But when it comes to nightlife, I think it's affected nightlife negatively in the fact of like, if you had all these teams and parties come together and be like, there's one party to go to on Friday, and we know that party is cracking every Friday, right? It's like a community aspect where every Friday you're gonna be like, I know I'm gonna see my homies, my friends, right? If we're all, as you get older as an adult, you're like, I have adult things to take care of. I can't see friends as often, not like when we're in high school, right? And so now it's like there's an adult communal place for us to all hang out and kick it and do adult things, right? Party, Tyler's drugs, sex, rock and roll, I don't do drugs, right? And all that shit, right? Just kidding, I don't know. But now it's so divided. So now it's like, hey, you're my friend. You're also his friend who throws a party. You're also his friend. So now you're kind of divided. Like, hey, I know I have friends with all these people that throw parties, but whose party do I want to go to this Friday? Yeah. Right. Whereas if it all came together, it's like I go to one party and I see everyone.
I mean, like, to be honest, this is like kind of all of this that has been going on for the past couple of years. Even for me, this is relatively new. Like, me and you have gone out however many times, and we literally like have like an itinerary. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're like, oh, where are we going tonight? Like,
here,
you know,
here.
No, seriously.
That's what it is. We time it out.
I literally think I'm like trying to think in my head, when's the last time we went out and we only went to one place? And it hasn't. I can't. It hasn't
happened. And honestly, my thought on this is, in any other world, as in business or anything like that, in what world do you actually know your competition well enough to monopolize the industry? Essentially, you could. If everybody came together and threw one party, it'd be a wrap. I never understood. I mean, I understand, I get it. Everybody wants their own thing, but I don't know why people have. I don't know. It's, I guess, just more full of people. I guess so many more people.
100%. But I do believe, like, if, like, you know, in the Asian American nightlife scene in SoCal, like, if 3 or 4 of these teams and groups came together, like, everyone else would just be like, well, fuck, I might as well just hop on too. Do you know what I mean? It's all it takes is like
coming soon.
All it takes is like 2,
it's
3.
Called the collective.
Like all it takes is like 2 or 3, and then everyone else is gonna look up and be like, oh, like Jesus, like I shouldn't throw a party on this night because you know, like these guys, like it looks like everyone's gonna go here, and it's just like, you know.
Would I want to be a DJ? Damn, dude. It's too late for me now. That ship has sailed. I'm getting close to Tyler and Joey's age, so.
To add on top of that, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of DJs are throwing parties is because they can't get booked. Right.
Okay.
So,
see, that's an interesting perspective.
Right. So this is the perspective of being a DJ, right?
I'll drink some tea to that one.
As a DJ coming up, I was always looking at these events or parties and being like,
what a comment.
Okay, do I want to, like, how do I get booked at this club? Or like, this is the popping club to go to all the time, right? And it's like, who am I that somebody wants to book me? Like, growing up, it's like, oh, he's a nobody, right? Like, unless you're in the know, it's kind of like back then it was not as saturated with DJs, right? So like every area you have your go-to local DJs that are doing all the clubs and bars and things like that. So how do you break into that scene, right? It takes a long time for you to even be considered, right? Like if I'm a nobody, I showed up to a club and I'm like, I want a DJ here. Now I need to be like, who do I talk to? Like, do I talk to a bartender until he's cool enough with me to be like, oh, let me introduce you to the manager or the DJ, right? And that could take so long. Right. Whereas nowadays it's like, it's a lot quicker of a process, right? You can look it up on social media, DM them.
If kind of just building on that, it kind of just hit an idea in my head. Yeah. If I'm being honest, the question you asked earlier is, why is the nightlife scene so different? I can honestly say, I think a big factor is how easy it has become to become a DJ.
Yeah.
That's probably like a really big factor.
The barrier of entry is so much lower. Back then,
so much
like,
lower.
When I started DJing, it's like thousands. Now it's like you spend 200 and you could DJ.
I think it's so, if I was to name an entertainment industry career, like in terms of self, like, you know, you have rappers and singers and dancers, and so if we're gonna put DJ in that category, right? Like, and this is coming from a DJ, right? This is coming from a guy who's been DJing for over like 10 years, like straight up. Like, I think being a DJ is at its absolute easiest right now. Like
100%.
100%.
The amount of resources available.
Yeah, the amount of resources and everything you have available. Like Jasper said, you can buy a cheapest controller, which is crazy because it's actually not a bad controller either. Like I
just bought one yesterday.
Yeah, I have a portable one like that too, and it's just so crazy because I use it, and someone that's learning how to DJ can literally do that, have a laptop, and literally, you know, like you can literally YouTube it, like we're
so many resources
that has a DJ school. Like, come on, like, you know what I mean?
There's just so many resources available. So the barrier of entry, a big thing is like, this is like before my time as a DJ as well. Like if you bring this back like 20 years, 30 years ago, like when DJs aren't records, right? Yeah. Like one of my mentors, like he was like, dude, like I had to open at the club for like a few years to even get a better slot. imagine like all of us like taking years to even get to that, like not be an opener anymore, right?
Yeah.
Back then it was like people didn't teach you. It was like gatekeeping was real, you know? And it's like, oh,
I mean, I was an opener for like 2.5 years.
yeah, and it's like, oh, you want
a
to
long time.
You want
Yeah.
me to teach you how to DJ? You got to hold my records. Like that's what it was back then, you know? You got to carry all my shit, set up all my shit.
Almost like a hazing type of
It's
thing.
kind of but it's kind of like a right of way. Like you had to earn your stripes.
Yeah, not necessarily hazing like
Not negatively
earning your
hazing, but it's
stripes.
just
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like earning your stripes,
exactly.
like-
yeah, kind of. And then eventually that DJ gets bumped up, and they're like, "Hey, bro,
like, I'm
why
gonna
don't
teach you now.
Why don't you open for me next time?" And
Yeah.
then you just it just keeps moving on up, and
Wow.
that's kind of like the way that I saw the DJ industry, right? So I was kind of like, "Yo, like, it's just crazy now. Like, you kind of walk into a party nowadays, and like, at least 1/3 or 1/4 of the room are DJs. You know what I mean? And they're all like, it's funny when you go to the club and you see like all like 10 DJs standing behind the one guy that's DJing that night, and everyone's just like looking at his screen and just kind of like, yo, but that's how it really is. So every DJ has to find a way to stand out, has to find a way to be different, or do they have a gimmick, like whatever it is, right? Everyone figures it out until it hits for them ultimately. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's caused everyone to be more ambitious and more entrepreneurial and kind of just like, yo, like, for example, movie industry is a great example. Working actors, how do they start as? They're waiters, waitresses at
everybody's
like
at Starbucks.
Everyone's
or
at a
some coffee
Starbucks,
shop or
especially if we
something.
go to a Hollywood area, West Hollywood. They're like, oh, what do you do? And it's like, oh yeah, and then you know that cliche, like when you see in a movie like that cliche, like, oh, I have to go to an audition,
no,
right?
that's true.
They
That's
get
so
discovered.
Yeah,
and,
so
like,
it's just no. So I'm saying like, so think about that. That there's a grind and grit, right? But nowadays with social media and how entrepreneurial the youth is, it's kind of like, how do I become big? Well, let me just take my phone out, record.
Yep.
Yo, this is a cool mix. Boom, post it on TikTok. Hope it hits. You know what I mean?
I'm not
Like, and
gonna
it's just
lie.
it's crazy because I'm gonna say this. It's unfortunately that easy. I'm going
Right.
to use the word unfortunately.
No, I was gonna
because
say, I
there's
don't necessarily like that.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
people
like the
that,
fact that that
are
is the
so
case.
big and they're like, oh, you have to, and you see the comments, you have to DJ at a club. I can't wait to see you. And then you
Yeah.
go to a club and they're just kind of like, oh, like,
Are they actually that good?
yeah, and sometimes I've seen some that are good, and I've seen some that are like that's not what they were expecting, and people don't, you know, and it's just like they don't think
it
about
ends
like
up worse for those people because they'll drop off and it's just a bad thing instead of doing everything organically.
yeah,
I
correct.
think that the access to social media can be a good thing, can be a bad, and absolutely be actually I think more of a bad thing than anything else. I think that especially when you're DJing, becoming a good DJ organically means so much. It's not even. I mean, there are so many things. Okay, running a DJ school. You know, and going through all that stuff, you see everything firsthand, literally firsthand.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's going to be a foremost authority in the room about doing this and commenting on it, you know, I don't want to hear from anybody on the damn podcast on any of this shit. Because unless you run a DJ school, don't talk to me. So you really have to learn things. You have homework?
Yeah.
You have all kinds of stuff,
Put 'em
and
through the
then
ringer.
you know, and you know, this just I don't know. It's a very it's a difficult thing to look at.
Yeah. You know, I have two thoughts on it, on why I like it and why I don't like it, right? So my biggest thing of why I don't like how easy it is to get into this industry now is because the quality of DJs that get churned out is marginally means little, right? It's exceptionally lower.
Yeah.
Because coming up as a DJ, I came up as a DJ like right in between like where social media was starting to come out. Of like to break out into that thing, right? So
Right.
I'm like in that era. I'm not like super old school either. So I was like in the middle time. But from what I've seen is like my generation of DJs, like you still had to come up, and a lot of people when you start off as DJs, like, oh, I don't know anybody. I don't know club promoters. I don't know anybody. So you DJ in your backyard, you throw a little house party, you go DJ your friends' house parties. Through that process, you learn a lot, right? You learn how to promote. You learn how to be like, how do I get 20 of my friends to come to this party? You learn how to set up a gear. You learn how to troubleshoot when things go wrong, right? And now what I see at the club is you see a lot of DJs that went straight from TikTok to the club. So when something goes wrong, like a CDJ is not working, equipment, something's fucking up or whatever it is, you don't know how to respond to that, right? So, and ultimately people think, yeah, that's part of the DJ, but you realize that you're ruining a lot of that club experience for the club goers.
Yeah.
Right. So that's something that a lot of people don't think about because it's such a selfish mentality now.
Yes.
Right. But on the flip side, why I think it's dope is because it gives people opportunity that would never have the opportunity, right?
Right.
If you were like a
100%.
DJ in the butt fuck
always
middle
some
of
positive
nowhere.
Yeah, there is some positive
There's
to
pros
that.
and cons.
Always.
There is
Always
positive.
pros and cons.
I guess I would say, if you do blow up and you do those things, do your do your research. Do
Yeah.
your if you're gonna be like, if you get lucky enough to get blown up and do that and go DJ at clubs, it's your responsibility to do your own research on being a DJ.
It's cool to see DJs that are open to learning. I've met a lot of
agree.
DJs that
I
are
agree.
new, that are so
I agree.
closed off to like, they're like, nah, I got this, blah, blah, blah. And then like, it's just, you don't see that as often anymore. Is that people, how open-minded DJs are to know like, hey, I don't know who you are at the club. You could be another DJ trying to give me advice. And funny enough, this might go into a story about how I met Joey actually, right? About like, it's just like, you never know who you're going to be around, right? So I'll just kind of touch up on that. So the way I actually met Joey was my very first club gig, right? And this was at Exchange LA, right? And so I remember I was with Diho, and Diho was like, hey, you're DJing in this room. I was like, okay, cool. This guy named Joey One Oak is DJing right after me, right? So, and a lot of troubles that early young DJs have is they don't know how to switch off to the next DJ without stopping music and keeping a flow going, right? But I come from a place where I like really like the technical side of DJing, right? And I was just like, this guy Joey, I was like, okay, this guy, like, whatever it is. And I was like, okay, just making sure. I was like checking in. I'm like, are you good? Can I help you out? Da, 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 da. And I think at that time I had pretty good etiquette, right? To just make sure, like, I don't just leave, oh, DJ's here, but I'm fucking out, right? What if he has issues connecting, right? We got to keep the party going. So I was just like, I didn't know this guy had like years on me, and like he knew what the fuck he was doing, right? But I just thought he was like a new DJ, and I was like, are you okay? Like, do you know how to set up? Da, 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 da. And then like 2 years later, I think I met him later on, like at Arena or something, and I was just like, dude, you're that guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a pretty funny story. Because he told me that, and I was just like, man, it was like during a time where you were just DJing so much. And
I wouldn't
just
feel.
like,
I mean, I wouldn't feel too bad. Joey has years on everybody. But.
You touched on etiquette, right?
Yeah.
So what are some common club etiquettes that people should know, like do's and don'ts?
general club etiquette.
Let's get into the fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Ooh.
Let's get
Okay,
into the fun
I think
stuff.
there's two halves. There's the DJ side, and then there's the club
No.
side.
Let's just
Just straight
overall,
DJs? Overall, club
etiquette.
etiquette.
That's what
Oh,
they're saying.
etiquette.
Club
Yeah,
Club
yeah.
etiquette.
Do's and don'ts. No requests. That's a for sure do not. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Like,
Don't ask for shit. at the
I
club.
respectfully,
Not the wrong place,
No,
wrong time.
I'm dead. As a patron, sometimes I obviously sit there and I'm like listening to the DJ, but I've never been like,
Play this.
Can you play
song.
Bad Bunny?
can you play
Play
this
this
song?
song?
You know what I mean?
If people actually know
Can you
what
play
goes
Jungle?
into DJing, you can't just do that.
Yeah.
You can't just do that. There's a specific. There's a, what do you call it? There's a run on songs.
Yeah.
You know what you're gonna
Yeah.
play.
And I
Has
just-
to match BPM. Has to
and I
do
just
all
think
kinds
it's
of shit,
crazy. Right? I think what's funny is the actual DJs that do listen to people's requests, and then the people are like sitting there and they're like, yes, like I've seen it so many times because for a
God.
while I didn't mind it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yes, the whole play Bad Bunny thing.
Because sometimes
So
they
I-
might give you a good one.
Yeah, so people are like, play Bad Bunny, and I'm just like, I literally remember so many clubs that I DJ'd. People hold their phone, play Bad Bunny, and I just go, I got you, like kind of like I got you, and then people are like, you see them turn around with their friends, they're like, yeah, he's gonna play Bad Bunny, and then they're like sitting there at their dance still, and then the next song isn't Bad Bunny. And then
What
you'll
the
turn
fuck
around
is
and be
Bad
like,
Bunny?
they're like, fuck
They'll be
this,
like,
they'll be like, what the fuck, and I'll be like, and then the next song isn't Bad Bunny, and I'm just like sitting there, I was like, and you could kind of feel the
eyes.
tension,
the
like,
gaze,
the eyes on you.
sitting there like, dude, don't worry, I'm gonna. I saw.
We're gonna
your
get there,
thing. I'm
bro.
gonna get there. You know what I mean? Especially if I acknowledge
If you're at a
it.
wedding, go ahead and request a song. Not at a club.
Different time.
Different
Different time. So
different-
I would say
different.
my first club etiquette thing is definitely
no requests.
no
for
requests.
sure.
It's like, one of mine is if you get a drink at the bar, leave the bar after you grab your drink.
Ooh.
Because so you think about so many
That's
other
a good
people
one. That is a
that
good
they're
one.
like
Okay.
waiting, like these people are just waiting there, taking how long to take a shot at the bar, and then you're
Oh, I
like, dude,
hate
how many
that.
people are waiting for you to get the fuck?
I mean,
out
I think
of
the
way?
one thing people don't realize is the club is not a bar, right?
Yeah.
Because if
Yes.
it's a bar, yeah, I
your
get
drink
it.
and
Like,
leave.
people do like 5 shots and we could chat because it's a
Yes.
bar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
different.
if it's a club, then it's kind of like, yo,
People are waiting.
Like, yeah, there's people behind you, and it's just kind of like, yo, you were just them couple minutes ago. Like, keep it going. And respectfully to the bartender, they need to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree with that. I think mine is being courteous. If you're walking through
I agree.
the club and doing that,
like, excuse
you are
me,
in there with
things
a
like
bunch of people, and this always happens. We're always making our way to the stage.
Yeah,
we're always
right.
making our way up there. There's always people who are just fucking oblivious. Like if you're in a club, you know somebody's trying to get through. Just fucking move.
Yeah,
just
I
get out
agree.
of the way.
I
I'm not
agree.
that.
Just
Don't
trying
be
to
that
stand
much
my ground.
of a fucking diva.
I agree.
Just move
I
out of the way.
agree.
Say excuse me. Boom boom. You know what the fuck to do. I think that's my thing. Is just everybody who just stands there and like stares at you like you have four heads. Like, dude, move.
Get the fuck out the way.
Fuck out of the way. Who has the worst? Okay, let me go down the line here. So I'm gonna go in order. Okay, I'm not gonna go in order. Okay, no, Joey does. Joey does. There's no question. Let me do 3 words for you. Okay, handle your liquor. Okay, I don't get it. You DJ for 100 years, and you can't fucking handle your liquor.
So, Joey has amazing club etiquette. Unfortunately, I have the worst club etiquette. I just think that, I just don't know when to stop. I just want to keep going. I just want the party. I just don't want the party to end. Like, I have no idea why we end at 2 a.m. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, we should just keep going. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when we talk about etiquette, it's just like life in general, right? Like, even though you're at a club, even though you can get ratchet, you can do all that wild shit, you can do all the Tyler shit if you want, but you could still do it in a matter where it's like, be mindful of the people around you. You know what I mean? Like,
Here's another one. Wear fucking deodorant. Wear fucking deodorant. Take a shower, you filthy fucks. Take a shower.
He'd be taking a shower like, damn, let's go stank.
Take a fucking shower. You're gonna go in. You're around people. Just general human shit.
Yeah.
General stuff. I wear deodorant. I don't know what's another one. That's a.
I'm curious. I want to hear what
Alex.
one for you.
Alex, what's up?
Dude. I would say like fucking, those people at the tables, fucking, dude, those girls, or usually girls that come and they think they could just stay.
Oh, they're just
bottle
floating
rats.
around.
Yeah.
Bottle
They're just
rats.
floating around your table.
Yeah.
Shout out to all bottle rats. Don't do it. I'm gonna bring up a regular bottle rat situation. Okay, there's a train of girls that come up to the oh my god, I know that there was a specific.
Let me.
I know one guy at the
Before you continue, I just don't want for in general, bottle rat can also be a guy.
A bottle rat can also be.
So let's before
hell
we
yeah,
get
not
there,
even just girls. No.
because you guys said girls, and I'm just like, in my head,
Don't wanna
I
single
know
out
a
girls.
bunch of dudes
That are bottle
who are
rats.
bottle rats.
That is
Hell
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Dude.
I'll openly admit I've been to my fair share of tables where I didn't contribute, but my etiquette is beyond belief. To a point where someone has to look at me and be like, "No, Joey, it's all good," and I'm just I asked not twice, 3 or 4 times, and respectfully,
Let them offer it.
This is even at Tyler's table, and Tyler is unfortunately one of my good friends, and it's just kind of yo,
How the fuck did that happen?
and it's just so many times where even Tyler, a person that I know well and I talk to every day, and even then I'm still yo, Tyler, am I good to grab a drink? Or I point, I'm like, can I get one? And he's just like, dude, you don't have to ask. And I'm like, I even ask again, are you sure? You know what I mean?
Yes, and at this point, we should move into table etiquette,
because it's not my table. I had no money in on this. I completely understand where it's coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you go back to this whole bottle rat thing and etiquette and everything, and I'm just I have no I've been at my tables before and that I pay for, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, who just picked up the bottle?
Yes.
Who are you? You know what I mean?
Let's instead of in club etiquette, we should move into to specifically table etiquette. Okay, this is a great subject because as much as we do go to the club,
The master here.
the guy.
as much as we do go to the club,
I'm not going if we don't get a table.
Crazy is I do think you have a great perspective because you are a patron. You are a patron. We're on the other side. Of
You're
it,
on that. So I'll give you my perspective.
So
on
I think
that.
this is a great perspective.
Of course, and I will give it to you. So here's the thing: with tables are not just a place. It's not just, oh my god, we got bottles. It's real estate. It's real estate.
Someone
in
educated
a club. Okay?
Someone educated him. I wonder who, but someone. I wonder.
It is real estate inside of a club. Where
Correct.
I don't gotta stand with the crowd. I ain't gotta do that shit. I can sit down if I want. I have my own area, and it's an area for you and your friends to congregate, to be around. Okay, so. That's one thing. So when you're paying for a table, when you're doing these things, it's about the real estate and the drinks, obviously. So when you go up to a table, this is another thing that I have that people just don't register with. If you go up to a table and you're just there, right? Or say you get invited to a table or whatever. When you get invited to a table, I would always advise to always ask if you want me to put in anyways. Even if you're invited. I do. Even when I get invited to tables, I don't ask them if I could put in. I will give them money to put in. So that way there's no disconnect or anything like that and all that stuff.
There's no chasing down.
There's no chasing down. Just handle it. Handle it there if you can. Handle it there.
Correct.
The other thing is just, so if you go up with friends and stuff like that, always be mindful. Never grab the bottle on your own if it's your friend's friends. Don't do that. Correct. Always wait to be offered. Correct. If you come to my tables, I'm not going to do that just because I'm just not that way. But you never know whose table you're going to. You never know the dynamic of what it's going to be. And now you know on the other end of it, like people talking about bottle rats and stuff like that. You don't want to be labeled that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, because the nightlife scene as big as it is, it's small.
Everyone knows
it's small. So somebody's going to see you walking around in the club and like, oh, that's that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that dude.
That's correct.
You know, and you don't want that image.
Reputation is everything.
You don't want that reputation. Dude.
Also, if you're coming to a table, I believe another thing is if you're with people, you should say you're with people.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Don't just show up. No. I'm saying like if you see someone and you're like, hey, what up, bro? And you're kind of like, yo, come through. Automatically, like Tyler's,
like, hey,
I've seen Tyler at the club before where we didn't know we were gonna end up in the same place, and Tyler's like, yo, Joey, and I'm just like, yo, and I walk up, I was like, yo, I got these people with me.
Yes.
Is that okay? Because it's like, dude, like you don't just assume just because, and that goes back to the bottle rat thing, because it's just like, if I pull up and I say, what's up, Tyler? And he pulls me in like, yo, what's up? And all of a sudden he sees 5 other people behind me. It gets weird because there's 2 ways that it could happen. You look kind of weird for a second because it's like, yo, but then now as the person who owns the bottle or who has the table that night, now you feel obliged to give the other 5 people shots.
Right.
You do.
You don't want to say
absolutely.
it.
And you feel
obliged.
pressure
You feel the pressure because it's kind of like, even though you invited me over, it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, go ahead. Like, well, fuck us, right? Like, and it's just whether that's not the intention or not, it just does look and also feel that way. So I just feel like you have to be as transparent as you can, because people don't realize, again, like nightlife, clubbing, it's an experience, right? And people pay for certain experiences. So it's kind of like you coming on to someone's section, you are dabbling into their experience. You know what I mean? You're kind of like invading their experience, and I think that's a lot of thing that people don't take into consideration. You know what I mean? It's like,
I agree.
It's just kind of like, I don't know how to compare it, but it's just, think of it as nightlife is still an experience. Like, it's a service industry, and it is an experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So okay,
I
totally agree. No, not comparison, but to add on top of that, a big one for me when it comes to table etiquette is if you are not part of the immediate table group that came in, don't sit down.
Ooh,
don't sit down.
I like that one.
I like because you think, like, an example would be like, say someone sits down and like, like your group could, right? It's a place for you to come back to when you're like, I'm gonna go to the bar, let me go to the dance floor, real quick, come back. You expect to you come back because you want a place to chill. Right? And if you see someone that brought a friend or something and they're sitting, you feel rude to be like, hey, can you get up? And like, I want to sit. Like, you don't want to say that because that just sounds fucking rude, right? But it's like, I feel like it's an unspoken thing that people don't think about. You know, they're like, oh, it's an open seat, I'll sit there. But you don't know if someone's going to come back, and they're going to feel awkward to even try to ask that. Correct. So just don't even.
So I would just wait till, I think the big rule of thumb is, like Tyler said, is just to wait till you get invited. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's like the biggest thing. Wait to get, because even, you know what I realized is, I believe like women get embarrassed too, because they're kind of like, you know, like
they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot as well, and it's just kind of like, you know, like they're kind of just like, oh, like we don't know them. And it's just
I'll tell you a story.
You know, what I mean?
This was an incident that happened with a mutual friend.
He said
all of us.
T.
I got T. Yeah, happened with a mutual friend of all of ours that we all know, and actually happened at a club out in Hollywood. Starts with a W. Okay, starts with a W, ends with a wick.
Good club.
Good club.
Really good club.
Gentleman had come up, and a friend of mine who there's always somebody at the table, and hats off to these people who are the table police, who got the balls who are in that group.
I love those people actually.
Who are like, get out, get out. Nope, ain't your table. Boom, and
not
like,
your bottle,
and not your shut. Okay. One of those gentlemen is a very, very good friend of mine, okay? Another gentleman who I know, okay, very well. All these people are very well known throughout the scene, okay? This person in general. We had a table at Warwick. I said it. All right? Had a table at Warwick, okay? This particular gentleman said, hey, can I come up and say hello? To me. He came up and said hello to me. It's fucking not even a beat later, like 15 chicks, bro. I'm not even lying. There ain't nothing wrong with having a bunch of girls at the table. 15 chicks. He didn't say nothing about nobody who he was with, and the table police who was there was like, "What the fuck?" And I'll never forget it because it put my other friend in a bad position because he didn't disclose who he was with. And what happened is pure embarrassment, which nobody had to deal with, okay? Because my guy was like, "Get the fuck out of here." And those 15 chicks behind him was like, looking at this dude like, "I thought you had it like that." Like, you don't want that. Just disclose everything. Tell them who you're with, and don't bring 15 people to a table.
I mean,
if you're going to do that, get your own.
If we're just going back to etiquette, it's just transparency is the best way, right?
It is. And I will tell everybody going to clubs now, it's a better decision to get a table.
It's cheaper,
honestly.
honestly.
It is cheaper.
Honestly,
it is
yeah.
fucking cheaper,
Like,
bro.
you
If you
split
think
it with
about
your
it,
friends?
each people chip in $100. How much you can actually spend at the bar? The whole night.
They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this round." You're like 80, 100
I mean,
bucks.
okay,
Yeah.
just to kind of build on this conversation, I think so. We've all heard it a million times, right? And I think if I was to make a comment during this podcast, is I would just openly talk about bottle service, right? Because everyone's always like, let's just say kind of to the general public, not people in the industry, but to the general public.
Yeah.
Why are tables $300? Who would spend $300 on a $50 bottle? Like, you see TikTok comments, you see comments.
Yeah.
It's not the bottle.
Like, yo,
it's the real estate.
People don't realize. Well, first off, is again, a bottle in its sense is theoretically cheaper if we're talking about a per shot radius, right? Like, in terms of if you go to the bar and you get the same amount of shots, it is more expensive than buying a single bottle. It is 100%.
Of course.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cheaper in terms of if we're talking about strictly alcohol, where the premium in that table service comes in is location. Location is a huge factor,
huge thing,
right?
in a club.
Especially, and that's why I think people neglect. Like, you see so many comments, and it's like, I just feel like people are uneducated when it comes to bottle service, because it's just like, oh, like, well, who would spend X amount? And it's just like, well, that's what they charge because they believe they have a premium experience. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
Why do some clubs charge 5,000, 10,000? You see all these clubs, you hear all these stories about these clubs that charge 20,000. Why do they charge so much? Because they believe they put a price on their experience.
Exactly.
Is there a little bit of a markup? Yes,
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. It's a business.
It
It's
is
a
a business,
business.
right? But again, it's all about the experience, right? Like,
Yes.
kind of like, yo, you want this experience in our club's eyes, it costs this much. You know what I mean?
That's why it's more expensive when you get closer to the stage.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Closer to the
Or
DJ.
the dance floor.
I'm by the fire. you know?
Yeah, like
Yes.
or if you're on the dance floor, 100%.
So relating to what you were saying about like people at the bar, I feel like, the reason I feel like some people are hovering around the bars because they don't know where else to go. Is either there or the dance floor. They didn't want to buy a table, but then now they're stuck. They don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I think that, again, that goes back to why, like,
Don't go to the club.
I'm just kidding. Out of everyone on the podcast today, who do I think has the worst club etiquette? When you say worse, it's automatically Tyler. Like, it's not even close. Once you hear the word worse, it's Tyler. Like, I don't care what anyone says after me, before me, it doesn't matter. When you hear worse, just pick Tyler. Like, that's the smart choice. Like, Tyler is just the worst. Like, Jesus.
Who do I think has the worst club etiquette? Tyler.
Who has the worst club etiquette? I have a feeling everybody probably said Tyler, and I'm agree with that too.
So it just bottle services all depends. But again, it's not just the price of the bottle. That's the one kind of, like, I guess, common
It's a
misconception to the general public. Oh, yeah, of course they're rich. They charge $400 for a $50 bottle.
It's not even about
or a
having
$25
money.
bottle.
Dude, split it with your friends, bro. The one guy don't gotta cover everything. And when you really split it, when you do those things, work smarter,
It actually
not
adds
harder.
up. That's why I hate it.
Work smarter, dude.
I hate it when you invite, usually you have a group chat. Okay, like all 15 of us are going to get a bottle. Mm-hmm. 2 of them be like, oh, I didn't drink anything. I'm not going to chip in.
my God.
There we go.
Oh my God.
There we go.
I hate that. There's always somebody who's, and trust me, some of these people are my friends too, from different aspects of groups. All of my different groups that I hang out with. There's always somebody, no matter what it is. Well, I didn't drink anything, so I'm not gonna pay.
That's gonna be the
Motherfucker.
ongoing saying for like the next 100 years in nightlife. Like,
Okay,
people are
don't
like,
matter. That's the thing.
yeah.
If you are at that table, you are paying. So you might as well drink.
I agree.
You might as well drink.
I agree.
If the people are like, well, I'm going to go to the bar and get a drink, then you're not standing here. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna comment on that. I think it puts people at an awkward situation. That's why you kind of have to be transparent about everything. Like,
yes,
I'll admit there's been times where I financially could not put in, and I would literally text whoever on the side and be like, "Hey, I don't know if I can afford to put into this, so I don't
exactly.
have. Should I not go? Should I?" And then literally the person's like, "Hey, I appreciate the comment.
Like, cool, I got you.
You're good. Just pull
oh my god, yes. Communication is key.
Yeah, and I don't know if people are embarrassed by it or not.
If you got friends if you got friends that you can't disclose that to, they ain't your friends.
I agree.
They're not your friends. They're not your friends.
I can openly say there's been times where I literally couldn't afford it because I'd look at the group chat and be like, "Damn!" Like,
if somebody actually said that, I would be like, "Good." You good? You're good. Don't worry about it.
And that's the crazy thing is 90% of the time,
that's
everyone would probably be like, "We got you." You know what I mean?
Right. Of course.
Because cutting your portion 4 or 5 ways is only adding $20.
Exactly.
And for someone
it's not that big of a deal.
They're like, "Dude, we got you." You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you disclosed it. You're out there.
Yes.
Now, now let's go to the flip side. You didn't say anything. Now you're hit with a X amount of dollar bill, and then you're like, "Oh, well, I didn't drink anything." I was like, "But you came with us. You were with us." Like,
right.
And now it just, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've seen friendships turn because
oh,
of
hell
conversations
yeah.
like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Over some stupid ass reason.
Yeah, I've seen friendships turn because of bottle service. So
that's
it's just
crazy
kind of like,
to me. It's true because when you it's not the best thing to do. You don't want to involve friends, money, and all that stuff. Just make it. Just be clear.
I think
with
open
everything.
transparency.
I've learned
is
the best way.
It's key.
Yes,
key.
absolutely.
In terms of table etiquette. If we're just building on this, finishing up this subject of tables and everything like that.
Yeah,
transparency is key. 100%.
Absolutely, I agree. Communicate. Talk to your friends.
Damn, Tyler was passionate about bottle
you
service.
can tell.
He's saying, "Fuck this shit. I'm gonna make a table decree in this motherfucker, dude."
He's been saying like, "Oh, we should do like one about like table clubbing."
I
etiquette.
still got another 2 hours in me about that shit.
we have enough stories for about.
We have plenty of stories.
We have
plenty
enough,
of stories.
yeah.
We should do a story hour at some point here. Me. What kind of question is that? What? You just asked that question? Who the fuck wrote these?
I want to say me. Like, have you seen me? Like, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, if you come to the club, like, I'm not in the back. I'm in the front. And, like, for all you guys in the back, like, but, I think that I am the biggest party animal, and it's not even close. I invented that. Party animal, Tyler Laurento.
Oh my god.
All right, but okay. So if you were a parent, your kids say, "Oh, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go club, whatever." Like, how would you feel? Like, because you already know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. I think. So I feel like everybody has their own perspective on this, right?
Well, it's hard. None of us have kids, so it's hard for us.
No, I'll give you my parenting perspective.
None of us have kids.
Okay,
But
I
don't have kids.
We can
for
still give
me,
them
okay,
perspective.
for me personally, before they go out by themselves, I would want to go with them.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And
Wow.
this is why.
With them?
And this
Wow.
is why, right? Because it's one of those things where if I at least take them to their club first, I have enough experience to be like, hey, this is what you look out for. Like this
there's
is
definitely a lot of
etiquette.
fucked
I
up
don't
shit
want.
that goes
I don't want
on.
my kid to, like we just talked about the whole bottle service thing. I don't want my kid to be the fucking bottle rat, right? So, but at the end of the day, for them, it's ignorance. They just don't know. They've never gone through it, right? So for me to go with them, maybe we'll get bottle service. Maybe we'll do this, right? Also, it's kind of like, at least I could be like, I could make sure my kid gets home safe tonight or whatever, right?
Interesting.
And be like,
Imagine you're the DJ that night.
like, kid, like, son, come with me.
No, this is crazy. Tyler's gonna make some fucking comments. It's just like, I have literally DJ'd, and it's just like literally like my homies' kids have
Wait,
been like
okay.
at the club and stuff. I swear to God, like it's
Okay.
happened. Like my friends that have kids at a
I
younger
think
age.
they have their grandkids there too.
like
Grandkids.
I go to a
like-
club with my friend's mom. Fuck you, right? So this is okay. I can comment on this because my friend's mom was kind of like my mom growing up because my mom wasn't really
Your
like there
friend's
for me.
mom. Okay.
So and he was like one of my closest friends, longest friends I've ever had, right? And his mom's like the cool mom, right? So we would go to the clubs together, right? Like when I got in trouble at school, she would pick me up and like sign off on my shit, whatever, like that, right? When we were young, we'd party at their house because it was like the cool mom, right? And so her perspective is like, at least I could be there like if I'm gonna have fun, I already know how my kid is. Like he's at this age where he's turning up, whatever it is. I want to, because when your kid is older, like in their 20s, it's a different experience with your child. It's not as much of like a mentor mentee, like parent to child. It's more like, hey, you're an adult now, we can have more adult conversation, more adult experiences together. So it's a different type of bonding.
Yes.
Right. For me, it's like maybe that's why I would decide like I would want to go to the club with my kid too, right? Because we would.
It's like giving the birds and the bees talk, dude.
Yeah.
It's
but it's like, hey, don't be that guy. Like this is your etiquette.
Don't
like
be
do
that
this,
guy.
whatever.
I think if to give my opinion, I think it goes back. It's this conversation. It goes back to how you would raise your kids first off. So that's kind of like. But let's just say if we're talking about would I let my kids go to the club? Let's just go down to that base question. I personally would because I was in it. But I 100% think I would educate my child on like, hey, like I'm not fucking kidding. Like. Especially if you have a daughter, like, hey, like, be careful. Like,
don't date a promoter. Like,
don't date a promoter.
like, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, because I think our generation is like, we're gonna be, I think, one of the first generations of like cool parents. Because it's like, it's kind of interesting, right? Because it's just like we're in a time where like 40-year-olds like act like 20-year-olds and like 50-year-olds can act like 30-year-olds. It's like, you know, like the gap is like
different.
It's
closing.
different now. It's different now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like respectfully, like that's how it is, right? So I do believe that we're gonna be so educated when it comes to going out and everything. We're not coming from these very conservative traditional views. You know what I mean? That like traditional, let's say Asian parents came up on or traditional parents came up on. We have a very open mind and we've experienced a lot of things. So I believe that the biggest thing is just making sure that for me as a
I think
if I was
safety.
a parent, is safety. That's 100%.
They do not drive to the club.
Like
that's my biggest
that.
thing.
Like
they do not drive
is
to the
safety.
club.
So I would let them 100% experience it all in your own. Girl, it doesn't matter, girl, guy. And I guess it's gonna go back to the way you want to parent, right? Because it's like if you have a daughter and you're kind of like, yo, like don't talk to guys. Like there's so many different things, but it's just like I know what I was like when I was 17, 18, and everything. So it's just kind of like, yo, like have a good
You're
time.
gonna be young.
Just no, in my opinion, it's just be safe.
Be safe. Be respectful.
Be safe. Do not drink and drive.
Yeah.
To the younger ones out there, listen, it's just not. And this is like a little side moment here. Don't drink and drive. Don't do it. Take an Uber. Call your parents. Call somebody. I myself here, okay, I've been in K-Town at 3 a.m. I should have just Ubered, but for some reason I was like, hey, what are you doing? And I called like my mom. She's like, my parents are cool. My parents don't give a fuck. They're cool.
If I called my parents, they would actually love that instead of
they were like,
me,
yeah, we'll come down.
Instead of me like
instead
of me getting in a car and getting in a wreck. Like my parents would have been like, yes, Joey. Like, yeah, they'd be a little just like any other person. They'd be a little annoyed. But
they'd be like,
but it's like, yo, like 100%.
I'd rather you call me.
Yes.
I'd rather know you're
drink
safe.
and drive. Be safe. And this is another thing too. If we're talking about parenting and nightlife too, you can almost translate that to younger siblings too. So if you have a younger sibling who is just old enough to go to a club and stuff like that, I would extend that to that too. Like my little sister and my little brother. Okay, the first time my little sister went to a club, you best believe I wanted them to go to the club with me.
Yeah,
it's like, come with me. Yeah, come with me. You ain't seen the club. Come on. Like you should want to show them. You should want everybody to have the knowledge. There's definitely a lot of fucked up shit that happens inside the club.
100%.
You know that people just may not talk about or whatever it is. It happens. It happens.
It does. It's an unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Like if we have to like, I don't want us to talk about it too much, but there's a dark side of everything, just like anything else.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that would be a fear of mine if I was a parent. You know, like forget 100%. all this, like oh, like they did this in the club, dude. We all did it. Everyone did it. Like everyone did crazy shit, whether it is sex, drugs, and all that stuff. And it's just like, dude, like. Again, you know what I mean? Like, we all get that part. But there's the real unfortunate side of things that are like, you know, like...
very serious.
Like, right? Once you get into legal issues.
Yeah, like there's all this stuff. And that's the part that would freak me out as a parent. You know what I mean? So I think I would just
always drink your own drink.
I would tell be careful. But even beyond that, like, let's say in respect to like a daughter and like a woman's safety in the club, even a guy, dude, like, yo, like if you... It's not worth it sometimes, bro. Like, don't be that tough guy. Like, it's not worth it.
Like fighting in the club. It's like, oh,
I have an example of this actually. So I think kind of touching back on the table service etiquette as well. It's different around the world, right? So we are here in SoCal, right?
Oh, it is different around the world.
So I used to live in Asia, right? And when I was living in Asia, I went to this club, right? And there was a classmate of mine. I didn't really know him. I just like knew of him. And we're at the club, like there's like 30 of us, and he was being disrespectful to some local women or something, right? And this club had a lot of Yakuza, right? And so next thing I know, he was taken outside and they beat the shit out of him, like broke his arm, everything. Wow. And he slept in the alley because he was like fucked up. And then so the next day he came into this class like broken arm, everything, and he was saying like he got yelled at by all these gang members and Yakuza and just because he like was being disrespectful towards somebody. Yeah. Right? Because you never know who's around you. You never know like it's what happened. Like the violence aspects of it is even crazy.
I think it just goes back to let's not even think about nightlife. It just go back to basic humanity 101. Like, of course, treat others how you want to be treated.
Absolutely,
period. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I would look at it. Right?
Everybody's here to have fun. Everybody's here to do their thing. Don't be a fucking prick.
Yeah,
it's not brain science. Just
Yeah. Well, okay. So, would you date a bottle service girl though?
I would be careful with this answer. There are people that we know that date bottle service girls.
I have two sides about it, right? Because working alongside bottle service.
Okay, before I hate to cut you off. Okay, start off with your yes or no, and then go on.
I would say yes.
I would say yes, and my reasoning is because there's a stigma, right? The stigma of bottle service girls are a certain way, right? Like, who else do I think would date a bottle girl out of everyone that we talked to today? Dude, I think all three of these motherfuckers would. I think all three of them would. If right person, right girl, 100%. I think they would.
Which is actually completely wrong.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to say that.
And being friends with a lot of these bottle girls.
So many of my friends who are
they're
bottle
super
girls,
chill. Like, it's for them, it's just like, oh, like.
No, but the stigma like behind bottle girls, like, let's not say it out loud, but like just say the stigma behind them. It is actually the complete opposite.
Yes.
Like it is actually the complete opposite.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
some people are cool as fuck.
Most bottle service girls that I know personally, you would have no.
Yeah, it's like,
just they're so.
It's a job.
It's like for them, it's like, oh, I'm going to college right now. It's like good tip, money,
like,
whatever.
And they make hella money.
They make
what the fuck?
Like it's still a job.
There's not. I don't know why people would have a stigma. I know people always have a stigma about everything. It's just a common thing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
I think it's because they're pretty much like getting hit on, like harassing us. So like they're not gonna be in a good mood.
Yeah, and, they're kind of like put on this pedestal as well. It's like, oh, this pretty girl's bringing us our bottle, like, and then a lot of like guys and girls, they don't know how to act right. To kind of piggyback off of this topic, right, is if you are dating someone within bottle service or in nightlife in general, I do think that you have to have so much trust in your partner, right? Yeah. And I think that I've seen it so many times in the nightlife industry where relationships are ruined because of assumptions, right? You at the club doing this with this girl, right? But then it's like if you have a partner that doesn't like to be out in nightlife, right? It's like they have to have a lot of trust in you, right? And you should be ideally a person that can be trustworthy, to have the integrity to know like, hey, I have somebody at home, like I'm not gonna fuck around.
True that.
Do some dumb shit, because like Tyler said, it is a big industry, but it's a small circle within that industry.
Absolutely.
Right? Everything you do goes around so fast.
So going back to the original question, you would date a bottle girl though.
Yeah.
I guess so.
If you like, yeah.
So
Next up, go.
Ready?
Yeah.
What?
Speaking to the mic.
Don't shit at the club.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
What?
All right, I'm here. All right. I was gonna do stage presence.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, okay.
Jumping around.
Cool. So it's about people standing on stage or actual stage presence or both.
Standing on it. Like what's up with all these people on the DJ stage, right?
What's up with these DJs standing on the stage?
What the fuck is up with these guys on the stage? No. What are your thoughts? Okay, I'm gonna broaden this. I'm gonna broaden this. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
2 parts here. What do you think about people standing on stage, and maybe what's some etiquette of people standing on stage, and what do you think goes into having a good stage presence?
Ooh.
Okay.
As
a DJ.
Is the second
or as
more
an
directed
MC?
as
Both.
a.
So
Okay.
first question is stage etiquette.
Yeah, let's do
and
stage
2
etiquette.
is stage presence in terms of a DJ.
Let me touch up on this first topic, right? Because this happened recently to me I was DJing at Heat, right?
Oh my god.
Stage. We're talking about stage etiquette right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you were there that night, but this girl just came on stage, right? And she just started twerking all over the DJ booth.
Ooh.
Right?
Like
and then,
on the DJ booth?
like my friends were grabbing my laptop.
I was there.
Right? And then like I think he grabbed my laptop. Like, she was about to smash my laptop. He had to move it. She was about to smash it again. They had to move it. And I'm like in the middle of DJing, trying to like pick a song while they're moving my laptop. And I'm like, dude, like, you being reckless like that could ruin everybody's night, right?
Like, I think stage etiquette is kind of just like the one thing you have to realize is the DJ is working. This is their job. This is what they're doing. So you being like all up like, yo, like this, like it's cool every once in a while, like but like like ultimately I'm working. You're working. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm trying to put on we're a performer. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to put on the best performance I can. Now, if I turn around and I acknowledge you and I'm like, let's take a shot, like whatever, cool. But I'm saying for the most part, it's kind of like, like there's this, invisible bubble that we should respect. Like, you know what I mean? That I've taught my friends and told them, and they're all like, they get it. And at the same time, I think it's situational. It is
because like your relationship with that DJ.
Because there is boiler room style, and I love boiler room style. So like, for those that don't know, boiler room style is just like where like
you're just surrounded.
You're just like surrounded by people instead of like there's like a stage that's like separating, that's like elevated stage. You're just like same eye level, and everyone just can see you kind of. So I love boiler room style. So I think it's situational. But if we're talking about general club etiquette, you know what I mean? If you're on stage, you're already up there, like, just kind of mind where you are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And
mind your space. Don't mind what you're doing. Don't leave your drink near the fucking CDJs. Don't leave your shit there.
I do have one thing about stage etiquette that I want to say. And I think it's kind of like, I believe if you are on stage,
you should know.
If you're on stage, please be having a good time.
Don't look dead, right?
Don't look
your energy that you project on stage, people pick up on that.
I'm serious, yes. Because I don't think
party.
People realize, like, when they're like there and they're just kind of sitting and they're just kind of like whatever, like whether it's a partner or a friend that's in a bad mood, whoever, if you look like that, it's kind of like if I'm like here and I'm just like, oh, like what's going on up there? Like, I feel like you have to, if you're on stage with me, like you should be partying, right? Like you should be engaged. Yeah, exactly. You should be engaging and having a good time. You know what I mean? If it's not your day, if there's somewhere for you to sit on stage, please sit down. Please sit down. Yes. You know what I mean? But if you're standing and you're just kind of there and you're kind of just like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Like,
this brings me back to, this is not a part of being dead, but this brings me back to this TikTok that's been going around about with John Summit and these two girls.
Oh, I saw
who like grabbed the Don Julio from him.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be those people.
And he said, ooh. Not for you, girl.
Yeah, you don't want to be those people. It's stage. It's just it's a general presence. But yes, going back, I just wanted to say that. But going back to that, don't look dead. Just do whatever. Even if you don't be embarrassed. Nobody knows what the fuck. Nobody knows. It's like even with dancing and shit like that. Don't be. So
I'm just saying. I'm not telling you to be like to go like all out. No. I'm just telling you, just like
vibe,
you don't have to be like me and on the rewind.
I'm saying
thing like this.
I'm not saying like if I say jump, you got to jump like all that. I'm not saying. I'm just saying like. I'm there, like there's times where I'm not talkative, but I'm just sitting there, I have a drink in my hand and I'm just kind of like, like this, like I'm just like chilling.
Move,
but don't like, if you're just there and you don't look happy, all
no
that
puss
stuff,
face,
like,
no fucking puss face, no RBF.
RBF, like if you have RBF,
no resting
like,
bitch face.
Please sit down. Just
vibe, bitch.
Yes.
Bitch just vibe.
All right.
Another one is don't grab the DJ bottle. Because the DJ usually has a comped bottle for you, right? Don't grab it unless you are in direct relation, unless it's passed to you,
or indirect.
An example is like if it's like our party, right? Like if I'm DJing, obviously Joey's gonna grab it. Like we're in the same party, right? We're in the same partnership, right?
Yes.
But like, I think a good way
to
say
pass it off to others.
Okay.
Don't grab the bottle and pass it to your friend.
I'm gonna tell you right now, story that happened. Okay.
I think that goes back to bottle etiquette.
I think this goes back to bottle etiquette. This just happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was with the older
Glasses
you.
Look good, by the way.
Thank you. The older you. I was with. I don't want to mention his name, but I was with him. Went up to him, like I had arrived into this specific club that he owns. Mm-hmm. Came up to him. He didn't know I was coming. Bam. Big hug. Everything. Clearly, people knew I knew the DJ. Okay.
Yeah.
The DJ bottle, the bottle's there, right?
Yeah.
So he hands it to me. I'm drinking it or whatever. I return it to either him or the bucket.
Yeah. As you should.
As you should.
Return it to them. And there you go. There's like a gaggle of these little groupies that were there, and they're like, and they take the bottle and then they're like shuffling it between themselves. Okay, the bottle is now gone all of a sudden. The moment I grab it, they're looking like, Like, why the fuck do you have the bottle? Like,
and when the DJ wants to take a shot, he can't.
Return it to the bucket. Return it to where it goes. Put things back where they belong. Don't fucking throw it off into the ether. It's like, don't do that.
So yeah, I mean, let's just go back. Stage etiquette. That's like kind of where it's at, right?
Yes.
And then what was the second part of the
stage presence?
Stage presence. So this is as a performer.
As a performer, I'm gonna let you go, and then I'll go because I know.
Oh shit.
You're both. What is it? You're both break dancers.
No. I actually have a very good take on this, but I'm gonna
go ahead. Jasper
first. I do want you to go
Okay.
first.
Cool. So for me, it's interesting, right? Because as a DJ, I don't really MC as much. Which is funny. I don't really MC as much at the club, but if I DJ at wedding, it's totally opposite.
Yeah,
I'm the main MC.
That's so.
at wedding.
I've never noticed that.
And you know what's funny enough?
Parties with him for however long.
I had this conversation with.
I've never seen him MC at the club.
Yeah, but what's funny enough?
Mind blown.
He's usually blacked out drunk.
I had this conversation with Zeb, and we're the opposite, right? Because we both do clubs, we both do weddings.
Yeah.
Where Zeb told me, he was like, "Yo, I MC all the time at the club, but I don't do it at weddings."
That's interesting.
And then
I've done events with Zeb, and he hired me as his MC. That's funny.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
and so
interesting.
for me, it's like I'm more focused about, like, you have me there to DJ, right? And I think this is actually a topic I do want to get into about, like, play your role, right?
Okay.
And so as a DJ, my job is to, yes, there's supplementary things that you can do to hype up the crowd, like MC and things like that.
Yeah.
But my primary job is to make people dance. That's why I'm there, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of touch up on the play your role thing, we're in a world where DJs are promoters, are this, everything. Whereas years ago, it was you have a separate promoter. The DJ only has to DJ, but now the DJ has to do everything, right? That's what's different about this industry too, currently, right? But for me, I'm more focused on DJing, playing music, and like looking at things like, okay, I like to play this game a lot when I'm like closing at the club. Is I'll look at a couple that a guy's over here and a girl's over here. I'm like, I could feel their energy like inching towards each other. I'm like, I'm gonna play towards this couple in a moment.
Oh my!
It's a game that I do, right?
Wow.
And then
Yeah, matchmaker.
I
Wow.
go to the parking lot. I see them making. I'm like, I fucking did my job.
I did that.
But it's like
I
they're
fucking
going to
did
remember
that.
that moment. They'll be like, remember that one time we met at the club? It felt like the stars aligned, and
Wow, that's so good.
I'm a Pop-Tart rising and this, and I'm a Pop-Tart and shit. Shut the and the stars aligning, and now we're dating. You know,
I love that.
That's so good. Okay, so for my thing, when it comes to stage, we're talking about stage presence as a DJ.
Yeah.
I
You're
think
great.
I
I wanna
think
hear, yeah.
this is such an interesting topic, and I could talk about this for hours.
he's always there with his best friend.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Nobody's gonna know what that means, but god damn, if you've seen him DJ, you know what the fuck that means.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, that's so crazy. Or his crew.
For context, one of my it's not one of my signature line at the club is, if you're here with your best friend right now, make some noise. And it's just like, if you're here with your crew right now, make some noise. Anyway, that was
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, so here's my thing about stage presence, and we could tap back into this whole new realm of DJs, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is where you really, really see the disconnect and who's gonna make it and who's gonna not make it. Okay, so a lot of, let's say, DJs, there's two types of DJs. There's USB DJs and laptop DJs, right?
Okay.
So I am a laptop DJ. Jasper is a laptop DJ. Do I know how to use USBs? I do. I'm sure he knows how to use it if we ever need to, right? But let's just go off of the most common is a laptop DJ. It's probably the more, actually, let me take that comment back.
It could be 50.
It could be 50. Let's just say, so anyway, let's go back to,
10 years
let's just
ago.
say USB DJs and laptop DJs. Stage presence that is lacking in current and up and coming DJs, I like to call it a microwave DJ. So
Okay.
what I mean by that is they are always staring at their screen.
Serato face.
Yeah, I call it microwave DJ.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard that? Have you heard that?
No, that's
because
a
they're
new
staring
one.
at them. You know, you stare at the microwave.
It's like you're
for it to
you look like you're playing a video game.
So I call it a microwave DJ, right?
Right.
So when you say stage presence, I've seen so many DJs, so many good DJs, and he calls it, so the term, I guess the more official term is Serato face, and that's the application that DJs use. And it's just because they're DJing, and all they're doing is like switching songs, and they're just like, and they're just like staring at their laptop, and they stare up for a second.
It's like a video game.
Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's
NPC.
because they're so
Yeah.
focused, and which is fine. But I think the
energy you project too.
correct,
It can
correct.
be stale.
So stage presence is so, because if you've seen me DJ, I am like singing the songs that I'm playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, you know, all the pop songs that I play, even the rap songs. I'm I'm singing the song because I love the songs that I'm playing. You know what I mean? So I'm singing along, I'm dancing too. Sometimes I miss a transition because I'm dancing and having fun. But again, the energy projects, right? Okay. Like kind of like, yo, he looks like he's having a great time. He has the biggest grin on his face. Like he looks like he's having a great time. I want to have a great time. So DJs, a lot of DJs, they just don't seem to have that because they're so like they didn't learn enough or they didn't train, they didn't kind of like crap.
I have a side note,
like just not ready for that.
But they didn't kind of like perfect their craft. Like they just thought like, oh, I have a big social media presence. I know how to transition and mix. I'm ready. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And then the moment comes, and they're just kind of like staring at their screen. And they're just kind of looking up, and everyone's like, woo, and you're kind of just like. You know what I mean? And it's just I've seen it. No, I've seen it. I've literally it's true. I've literally seen it for myself. So stage presence amongst DJs is so important. If people like it's so important. Like if you're just glued to your setup and just glued to your laptop and you're just kind of like you don't necessarily I feel like being a DJ you have to have a routine. You have to know you have to have go-to transitions. You have to go to this. And some DJs just are not ready for and it shows. Like I've had so many DJs that come up to me and they're like, Joey, I'm ready to headline. I'm ready to do main slot. Meaning they're ready to DJ between 12 and 2, somewhere around that time. I'm ready for that main spotlight. I was like, I got you. Give you a chance. You know what I mean? Or actually, like, giving you that chance. I was like, you know what? Let me actually see you do 11 to 12 first, which is pre-headliner, whatever. And like in the moment, they're just like, yo, Joey, like I've had DJs who were like honest with me. They're like, yo, Joey, like, can you come on? Like the crowd is not feeling it. Like,
and that's okay.
They're not ready.
It's okay to be knowing that.
I have done that.
Yeah, we've all done that.
I've been in the club and I'm just like the crowd was not feeling what I was doing. And I literally was like, yo, can you hop on like 15, 20 minutes earlier? Because the crowd is not fucking with me.
I'm too drunk.
My vibe is getting killed too. And I don't think I'm going to be a good DJ right now.
It's what's best for the party.
Exactly. Okay. So command that performance. You know what I mean?
To kind of add back onto what Joey was just talking about, a big thing that I see now that has changed within the DJ nightlife industry and just DJ industry in general is I see a lot of this current generation of DJs DJ for them and not for the party.
I agree.
Right? And let me ask you this. Like, you go to a party, what is the whole point of having the DJ? Is to curate the vibe for the party.
Correct.
Meaning, don't be selfish about everything that you want to play.
Correct.
Right? If you love, like, deep house and everything, but your whole crowd is hip-hop, are you going to play deep house? Doesn't make sense. But you see that often now. Right? People play like, this is the music that I'm familiar with and I know, so they play what they want to hear, and it hurts the party. Rather than looking at like different, like, okay, I have a bunch of the sorority girls. Let me play some Sabrina Carpenter. Let me do this, right? A bunch of hood dudes. Let me go in this direction, right? So you go in different directions.
Don't edit that.
You go in these different directions, and I think a lot of DJs are either they're unaware or they're just being selfish, right? And they're not playing for the people around them.
I agree.
I have one side note
Espresso.
here for MCs, okay? It's okay.
What do you have to say?
It's okay. You don't do this.
It's okay to have your best friend.
It's okay to not sing the song,
but not every song.
Sing every lyric.
Okay, so as someone that's been MCing for like again 10 plus years, less is more. 100%. Like I've been to clubs. I'm not gonna say where, but I've been to clubs where the MC thought he was performing. Like yo, like da-da-da, like every song, finishing lyrics, everything. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. But I've been to clubs where literally, like, they did not let this dude DJ. Like, it was like, he felt like he was like, yo, like, and that happens. Like, people get a mic, they get a little bit of shine, and people think like, oh, it's my time to shine. And it's okay. But again, my friendly advice to people in terms of if you want 100% got to be confident, got to speak with confidence, but less is more. You know what I mean? Like, look at EDM DJs. They talk, but they don't talk towards their drop. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, and then they let everyone go. You know what I mean? Then they let it build up again.
Hey guys, it's a drop right now. Everyone, damn it!
You know what I'm saying? I think EDM DJs really good. They find that fine line.
It's a pocket. There's a pocket
between talking a lot and not talking too much, and talking. Like there's a fine line, and MCs that talk too much, you do kill the vibe. You 100% kill.
People will complain about someone emceeing too much. But
Yes,
if you're a
100%.
good DJ, just let them be. If they don't MC at all, nobody will say anything.
Yeah, I've seen it happen a million times.
Yeah, today we really talked some tea. I feel a lot of pent up anger.
There is so much about this fucking subject, clubs and shit.
Dude, this is like
We could have a whole. I want to do. Let's talk tea after dark.
After
and
dark.
motherfucker, I will. You want to hear some tea? I'll talk some tea.
Like
I
close,
gotta pay
like,
for this subscription service.
like
though.
close friends only type.
Close
shit?
friends only type shit. You wanna
subscribe to
some-
Patreon.
Yeah. Jeez.
Gretchen
So
Wieners
on my
over here.
OnlyFans, you're gonna get all the tea.
but yeah, so we do have a lot more to talk about. However, we are cut short.
Said part 2.
We should have a part 2 for more of everything. But
We gotta
before
do
we
that.
go, last question. I do want to know, what do you guys do outside of DJ?
Ooh, cool. You can go first.
I mean, respectfully, I've been a full-time DJ for about 6 years. But my actually original focus is I am in the fashion and retail industry. That is actually
Fashion.
super fun fact about.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why I did that. Oh my gosh, super fun fact that it's so crazy that I still get this reaction to people to today that like just don't know me and they just think, oh, like One Oak, DJ One Oak, like Joey. I'm actually a fashion major. Like I got my degree in fashion, so it's just kind of like, so that's my original focus. I currently manage a store in Pasadena called T.E.A. I just kind of took it over in May, so I'm actually really excited about it, getting back into fashion. And actually the cool thing is I get to bridge both worlds, so it's kind of like, you know, on here today we made Luv Language hats, and it's just using my knowledge of like the retail and fashion industry to do production and product and everything like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I pretty much do outside of DJing. Other than that, I just play a lot of golf.
Oh,
You know what I mean? A lot of golf. A
Typical
lot of
DJ
golf.
life.
What do they do?
I just I just came back from Canada playing golf, you know,
Fucking
and DJing.
God damn it.
You know what I
Typical
mean?
DJ schedule. Thursday, Friday, Saturday I DJ. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I play golf.
That's
Catch
a
me at the- catch him at
that's
the country club.
100%
It's very,
Yep.
That's actually
30
very
plus
accurate.
DJ.
That's
For me, outside of DJing, so I run a events and media company called Bilo Events and Media. We are primarily in the corporate wedding industry, right? I'm actually currently looking into getting an event space pretty soon.
Okay.
Right. This actually happened this week, so looking into that right now. That, and I'm also part of upper management with Academy of DJs. So that is kind of like my life has been revolved around like entertainment and media for the last like I don't know how long.
Yeah.
It's
A
good.
long time.
Yeah.
You're good at what you do, man. It's
Well,
good. Like
Yeah. I mean,
weddings
it's-
are huge, so it's like
It's big,
I mean,
yeah.
it's funny because it's like life outside of DJing, but it still ultimately ties back into
Yeah,
DJing.
yeah.
But it's still a different avenue, right? Like it's important. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's kind of like it's just crazy because it all still ties back into
Yeah,
DJing.
like,
you
I
know?
never-
like mine is kind of like completely different.
Yeah.
Like yours is like it still ultimately ties back into DJing, which
Yeah.
is like dope. In my opinion, that's dope.
For me, everything was like natural. I never was like, I'm gonna be a DJ now. Like that decision was never just made. It just like start DJing one day. I was like, yo, this is pretty fun.
Mine wasn't
year,
natural
year
either.
later was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this is all I do. I didn't realize I stopped b-boying. I stopped doing everything else. It just naturally took over my life. Didn't expect my life to be here.
Awesome. And then, do you guys have any big events coming up soon?
Yeah.
Shit.
Love Language 2-year anniversary.
July 2024 is our Love Language 2-year anniversary, so that's good. And we're actually excited. And you know what's crazy is now we're saying it on this podcast. Shout out to you guys for having us on, but we haven't even told our team yet.
Yeah, you guys
But
are the
we're-
first to hear. This
yeah.
happened like as we
shit.
walked
It
in here.
literally happened like this morning, this afternoon, but we're actually just, kind of tying everything that we've spoken about today, talking about community and building. We're actually going to be starting a new weekly party with Rewind, who is a very big and successful company based out of Orange County. And we're starting a new collaborative party with them starting next month.
That's
Fuck
some very,
yeah.
very big news.
Yeah,
you know.
I feel like we're really gonna shake like the nightlife industry. Like when
shake it
people
up.
are like, "Yo," like, and again, I hope that it actually, whoever's watching this or hears this, go back and listen to what we were talking about earlier. I hope you consider joining, and it's all about collaboration, right? Because I'm huge on collaboration.
Work
like, I'm
together,
so
right.
big,
Work
Yeah.
right? Like I'm so big on your net.
Your network is your net worth.
There you go,
Correct.
right? So I believe so strongly in
One of
that.
my favorite
And it's just kind of like, dude, I would love if there's like 20 teams on there and we just like become the place to be. But it's got to start somewhere. And the opportunity came arise. And yeah, man, we literally like an hour before we got here, kind of shook hands on it, and it's happening. So Rewind Love Language, summer 2024, it is coming.
Let's fucking go.
It is coming,
huge
baby.
news. Congratulations.
Yep, thank
and,
you.
You know,
thank you. It's coming. It's gonna be
keep
good.
it going.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
to
happy.
celebrate, Joey said he's gonna buy all of us bottles too.
Oh shit!
That's amazing.
Run that shit. I'll make sure to
amazing.
grab every bottle and invite 100 people.
We'll have everyone pitch in. No bottle wraps around here.
Oh shit!
Well-
All right, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was really insightful, and make sure y'all check out their events. We got the links. Fucking shit, dude. We got links down in the description.
Links are in the bio.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thank you all for watching.
Dope. Thank you guys for having us.